Let us take the triple refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and observe the 5 precepts. Please say Namaskara.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisarana-gamanang sampunnang. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccacara viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramereya majjapamadatthana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Tisaranena sadding panchasirang dhammang sadhukang surakkitang kattva appamadena sampadeta. Today we will think about meditation and the place of vipassana meditation. Vipassana actually means to see into. V is into or through. Passana or darshana in Sanskrit language, passana in Pali, means to see. So to see into or to see through. That's why it is translated into English sometimes as insight meditation. Insight into the various aspects of the body, the feelings, the mind and its objects. The Buddha taught this vipassana meditation, as it is called nowadays, actually as satipatthana bhavana. Bhavana meaning mental development, then sati meaning mindfulness, patthana means the basis. So, the development of mindfulness on the basis. What are the bases? There are 4. One is the body, including the breath. One is the feelings, vedana. Another one is the mind, chitta. And another one is the mental objects, dhammas. Not just objects of the mind, but also, for instance, that you suddenly see how things are changing, to get an insight into anicca, or that you get an insight into the unsatisfactoriness of thoughts, feelings, and objects. that you can see, if this is temporary, it's not worth to get upset about, it's not worth to cling to, it's not worth to have an aversion. So, just observe it neutrally. Sometimes you get an insight into the selfless nature of these things. You realize that thoughts are going on, but there's no me who is thinking them. Sometimes you get an insight into the feelings. Feelings arise and pass away without me being the owner of it. So then insights appear, and that is called vipassana jnana, insight knowledge or insight wisdom. It is that vipassana jnana or insight wisdom which actually is the most important in the Buddhist meditation. It is typically Buddhist meditation because this insight was not taught by even the teachers of Prince Siddhartha. The Buddha himself was taught only samatha bhavana or tranquility meditation, which took him up to the highest levels of samatha, dhyana and psychic powers, but not to liberating wisdom. The Buddha later said, it is this wisdom which actually liberates our mind from greed, hatred and delusion. It liberates us from lobha, dvesha and moha. Moha means delusion in the sense that we don't see the things as they really are. Sometimes it's called avidya, non-seeing, not knowing, ignorance. So all these words are synonyms for delusion, not to see the things as they really are. So moha is the main culprit which keeps our minds in ignorance. And therefore we have to break through that ignorance and become wise by seeing the things as they really are. And it is this sati or mindfulness or awareness or attention which we pay to our body, to the feelings, to the mind and to its objects, which gives us that insight knowledge or insight wisdom, which removes the darkness of ignorance and makes us more and more enlightened to see the things as they really are. Yatha bhuta jnana dassana, as the Buddha called it, is the most important thing in vipassana meditation. And it is the vipassana or the insight which liberates the mind from the clutches of clinging, craving, aversion, anger, hatred, and so on, all the negativities in the mind. Because it replaces the avidya or the ignorance with wisdom, seeing clearly. Therefore it is called insight meditation, vipassana bhavana. So when we talk about vipassana, we have one particular form of observing with mindfulness and with attention the feelings in our body, the sensations of our body. We can systematically scan the body from the very top of our head all the way to the toes by paying attention to those small vedanas or feelings or sensations. When you just observe the feeling in the top of your skull, on the skin on top of your head, you will find there are little different kinds of feelings or sensations. Sometimes some heat, sometimes coolness, sometimes there is pressure, sometimes there's pain, sometimes there's itching, different kinds of sensations. And when you focus your attention on different parts of the body, systematically, especially starting from the very top of the head and going along one side of the body, like one side of the head, one side of your neck, one side of your shoulder, the left arm, and all the way to the left hand, and then again up and across to the other side, slowly, I'm just telling you quickly now. Then when you scan the whole body systematically from top to toe, and especially the surface area, the skin, where you feel the sensations, then you get an insight into what is called Vedana. Vedananusati bhavana it is called. To get an insight into the sensations which occur throughout the body. And then you find out that when you focus on one part, you especially feel that part. When you're not focusing on a part of the body, then you might not even feel it. So that means that when you put your mind to something, then you can see that particular object much more clearly. So that also helps us in daily life situations. When you want to put your mind to something, when you focus on it, then you'll be able to do this better, see it better, or observe it better. And when you systematically scan your body from top to toe and from bottom to top, then you find out that all these sensations are just coming and going. They arise and pass away. They are never the same. They are always changing. They are anicca. The Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are temporary, changing. And therefore, this transitory nature, this changing nature of the body and the feelings and the mind itself is one of the characteristics that we become aware of when we practice vipassana meditation, starting with Vedananusati, the awareness of the sensations throughout the body. And when you have become aware of that, then you will also see how the thoughts are coming and going. Thoughts never remain the same. They arise, they stay for a second or less, and they pass away. One thought after the other, a whole stream of thoughts, a train of thoughts. And this train of thoughts is like a train with a locomotive and various bogies. And when you are not aware, sometimes your thoughts will run away and they will pass by like a long train of thought, and suddenly you realize, oh, I've been thinking. And you jump on the last wagon, so to speak. But the idea is that you must jump not on the last wagon, but try to jump onto the locomotive and sit with the driver and be there when the thought arises. And then you become aware of thinking when it arises. When you are aware of the thoughts as they arise, they are not so strong yet. They're just bubbling up like subtle bubbles underwater. And then when you can nip it in the bud, so to speak, when you can become aware of the thoughts, then they don't take you away all the way in a long train of thoughts. And therefore, you become a master of your mind. You can change your thoughts. You can also let go of your thoughts. Sometimes you may find that suddenly the thoughts disappear and you are in a different level, beyond thinking, or beyond or below the thinking, beyond the source of thought. Then you transcend thought and you might be experiencing a different kind of level, a freedom and happiness and a peace that you don't find in the thinking mind. So, to be aware of the mind itself is also part of Satipatthana Bhavana, is also part of Vipassana. So today, we learned a lot about what it means to practice meditation, what is the difference between Samatha and Vipassana. Samatha Bhavana means just making some kind of effort to suppress the thoughts and to get some peace of mind by paying attention to just one object over and over again, to get absorbed in that. The other one is Vipassana meditation, where we pay attention one by one, moment to moment, to the different objects as they come to your consciousness. It is the consciousness which becomes aware of the object. Sometimes you have eye consciousness, sometimes ear consciousness, then you're seeing, then you're hearing. Sometimes nose consciousness, you become aware of your smell, or of a smell. or a taste, or a feeling, or a thought. So basically we have 6 senses. You know, the 5 physical senses, the eye, ear, nose, tongue and body, plus the mind itself. So when you practice mindfulness, you become aware of either one of those 6. It's either a sound, or it is a sight, or it is a smell, or a taste, or a touch sensation, or a thought that you can become aware of. There's nothing else in the human experience besides these 6 senses, except the other, the unconditioned, the unborn, the uncreated nirvana. That, of course, does not exist of any sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touch sensations, or thought. It is beyond. It is without any of these sense experiences. It does not belong to the known categories of thought and memory. It doesn't belong to any of the things that we can grasp with the senses. But the human being is able to experience it by a different something in the mind. And that something is also sati, mindfulness. We can experience nibbana by being aware and not add any like or dislike. No greed, no aversion, just mindfulness and balance of mind. Then we can see the things as they really are. Then we can start liberating ourselves from greed, hatred and delusion. May you experience the peace and happiness and the security of the bliss of Nibbana.